Welcome to another episode of Armed and Dangerous DIY. Today I'm going to drill a hole in the side of my van. I'm not going to be a liar here. I'm really scared to do that, but I need to solve this problem. So I'd like to introduce you to Lady. We bought Lady about 6 years ago. We needed a vehicle bigger than a four-door sedan for family trips. We do a lot of long road trips to distant family members. And so we picked up this old girl. So she's getting up there in age. She's a 2002 model and she needs some extra TLC. The big problem with this thing is the battery. It sits too long and then it's dead. For years I've had one of these cheap battery tenders on it and that works okay, but we're really tired of popping the hood all the time. So the battery tender died on me finally, so I decided that I'm gonna go whole hog and do it right, the way an RV would be. So to that end, I have a high quality Schumacher trickle charger. This company makes fantastic products. I also have purchased one of these RV plugs that you would drill a hole in the side of your RV and you can use to hook shore power to keep the batteries charged when it sits for long periods of time. So I'm going to drill a hole in the fender here, mount this bad boy, connect it up to my trickle charger, and then put some battery post extenders on to hook these on. So full disclosure here, I've already tried to do this battery trickle charger project once. The filming was a nightmare, and the cheap brass terminal extenders I bought off Amazon were a total failure. They stripped out and didn't work. So I have gone to Napa, bought some high quality ones from a reputable auto parts store, and I'm going to do it again. So I've already pulled the battery out, and the first thing I'm going to do is drill a hole in the van and get all that situated. And then I'm going to put the charger in, then put the battery back in, and then I'm going to hook it all up, and then I'll be done. So the other while I'm at it here is this thing. The battery has been flopping around in this thing ever since we bought it. It needs a $5 hold down to keep the battery still, so I've splurged and bought a GM compatible one off Amazon for, I don't know, 10 bucks or so. So anyways, let's get to it. If you've never seen one of these tools before, it's called a deburring tool. I just grabbed the picture off Amazon as an example. The one I'm holding in my hand I got like 15 years ago. I'm on the original bit it came with, so these carbide bits last forever. This is my first attempt to use this edge protector stuff. I had such a large hole I couldn't just simply wrap the edges with tape or put a rubber grommet in. This hole is like 1.5 inches in diameter. I will say I was very impressed with the material considering the cost was pretty low. The inside of the rubber actually has a little piece of U-shaped metal in there that helps hold it tight. So the problem with getting this cord through the two holes is that they don't line up with each other. The reason for that is because I wanted to reserve the flat space for mounting the trickle charger. So we had to do a diagonal down. So after trying a few ways the hard way, I was like, why not just get a fish tape? So that's what I did. I just had her hold the rope and wiggle it back and forth, and I grabbed it with a little bent over piece of coat hook. being careful not to over tighten these screws and thereby strip the metal out. So I got them all snug at first, and then I slowly tightened them here until I could see the rubber gasket start to squeeze out. Between the rubber gasket and the paint on the exposed metal edges, that should hopefully keep the rust to a minimum. I shot this little bit because I don't have two cameras to show you simultaneously. Honestly, I just used one of my old cell phones. You can see the hook and how I kind of fished it through the hole. I went the extra mile here to firmly mount both ends of the AC cord and all of the cables. This van is going to last me at least another 10 years, and I don't want any problems with this stuff. I don't want the thing coming apart, etc., etc. I don't want vibration damaging it. So I'm really trying to do a good job here, professionally mounting it the best way I know how. So the $3 side post extenders I bought off Amazon stripped out immediately. Attempt 2 here was to buy some from Napa for $9 a piece and use those. I looked up who Napa was buying them from, and it's literally the same manufacturer as what I bought off Amazon. However, the part numbers are not the same, so I'm assuming this is a better quality of metal, or maybe I just learned from my mistake, I'm not sure. Either way, I had no trouble getting them in on the first try here, and I was very pleased with the end result. If you don't know this, when you're installing a battery, you should always install the hot or red terminal first. The reason for that is if you install it second, it could spark. The other thing too is that when you're tightening the red terminal, and the wrench hits any metal on the vehicle, it will spark and could arc out and could hurt you, or at least damage your tool. That's why you do the black last, because if you short black to ground, that's the same thing. Here I'm demonstrating my superior one-handed zip tie method by putting 2 kinks in it. Makes it easier to get it closed. All right, time to charge the van. Just plug her in. Here we go. So as far as the overhead cord, I have 2 of these overhead extension cord hose reel things in my garage. I mounted them a couple years ago, and I find that I basically never use the one over the big bay. I use the one over my bay where all the tools are all the time. So I decided rather than spending $40, I just would repurpose this one for the van. The problem with all the ones you can buy is that they have a triple outlet on the end of the cord, which normally is great, but I needed a single for plugging into the van. A lot of people don't know that you can just cut the end off a cord and put whatever connector on you want, so that's what I'm doing here. If you're a very savvy watcher, you'll notice that later on when I hang the reel, it has a different connector on the end. The reason is I bought a really nice one from Menards, and then when I put it all on and looked at the end, I realized it was the wrong termination. So after I hung it, I just pulled the cord over to the vise, took that one off, and put this one on that I had laying around in the basement. Now I have the correct connector. So rather than bore you with me running an extension cord, I skipped right past that and showed you the final sequence here.